Hello and welcome to everyone. Welcome back to Transition Place. It is the first Monday of the month, and we are back with this love thing. We've been absent for a few months, and as you can see, we have a very different looking cast here this evening. These are my siblings, and for these past few months, we have been taking care of our mother who had an end of life sickness, and the Lord took her to be with Him on July 6th. And today we're doing a special edition of this love thing. We're talking about dealing with the loss of a significant person. And I think it's safe to say that our mother, Agnes Marion Copeland, was a very significant person. So this is what I want you to do. The few of you that are already on with us in the live audience, and please know that right now we're live on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. If you know of someone who could benefit from this type of conversation, we're going to have a very candid conversation this evening about dealing with loss, and we're going to honor our mother tonight. If you know of somebody who may be having a tough time dealing with a loss, why don't you grab them and send them the link? If you're on Facebook, you can tag them so they can join the conversation. If you're on YouTube or Twitter or on Instagram, you can send them the link so that they can join in with us. All of your comments and questions are very welcome. I have with me tonight my sister Angelique, my sister Kimberly, and my brother and my sister in love, Timothy and Jessa. And of course, sitting beside me, you can see my much better half, Lady Tisha. And so I want to say welcome again. Once again, we are tributing our mother. Her name was Agnes Marion Copeland, born on June 28th, 1950, in Norfolk County, Virginia, now known as Chesapeake, in the South Norfolk borough of the city. She went to be with the Lord on July 6th. We did give a homegoing service for her on July 11th, and we had the official burial for her on July 24th. And we're here tonight to talk about that significant loss. So, once again, if you haven't done so already, please let someone know that Transition Place is on, and we're going to be talking about dealing with significant loss. I think I kind of want to start the conversation with giving each one of my siblings an opportunity to, first of all, just talk about mama in their own way and how, at this present moment, they're dealing with the loss. We're going to start with from the youngest back up. We'll start with Angelique, and then we'll go with Kimberly, and then we'll go with Tim and Jessa, and then Tisha and I will round it up. So, Angelique, we'll start with you. How are you dealing with the loss of Mama, and just talk about her significance to your life? After you find your mute button. There you
Okay,
go.
here we go. Um, First of all, hello everybody. Just want to especially think about people who are in a season of grieving. Um, right now, my heart goes out to you. Um, there's nothing like the loss of a mother. My mother was not only my mother, once I became a mother, me and my mother became friends. So she was a girlfriend as well, and mom was so many things. I mean, this could go all night, but we only have an hour. So she loved us, but her love did come with correction. And the older I got, I understood the correction because you know what? I've never been in trouble. I live life to the fullest. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I love Jesus. Um, One major thing when I think about mom is hospitality. And I just so happen to work in the hospitality sector. She just was everything. She just was everything. I don't have too much more to say outside of that. I know everybody has to talk. How am I dealing with the loss? I'm in grief counseling. Um, as soon as I heard the word hospice, before she even actually started hospice, I went ahead and started grief therapy. you just never know what grief is actually going to look like with you. Every single person is different. All of us are grieving differently. All of us are dealing with her death differently. For me, the grief showed up in my body. One day I was okay. The next day I was completely sick, could not hardly walk. And that next day is when I started the grief therapy. Mm, The way to deal with grief is the same way you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. It's moment by moment, hour by hour, day by day. Um, I kind of feel like I'm in the space where I don't even think I'm at the day to day yet. It's moment by moment. Um, the grief comes in waves. One minute you're okay, and the next moment you are not. So, how am I dealing with the grief? By dealing with my mental health and spending time with my family.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Kim, how about you? How are you dealing with the loss, and let people know what Mama meant to you?
My mother was definitely everything. She was a firecracker, and she popped off until she left here. Um, as far as grieving, I did grieve my way. I couldn't do what everybody else was doing. I had to do it my way. I had to see what I could see when I could see it. Like it was baby steps for me. I couldn't see what everybody else was seeing. I had to take my time, and I had to take it one day at a time. And as of right now, I'm still taking it one day at a time. That's all I can really do. One day last week, I actually dialed her number, but before it went through, I hung up quickly because I can't call where she is. I can't call her, you know. And it was just to check on her, but that I can't check on her where she at. And I'm not trying. I am not trying to go check on it either
If
right
she had
now.
to answer that phone, I want you to call me. I'll tell you that
Exactly.
right now.
But yeah. But as far as grieving, I'm taking it one day at a time. And right now, I've been talking to dad a lot, and he's been helping me through. Also, just talking to him, having a decent conversation with him. We'll be on the phone for 30 minutes. We'll be on the phone for an hour, just helping me get through. And he doesn't even know that he's helping me get through, but he is.
Wow.
But like I
Okay.
said, grief, I'm taking it day by day. It definitely hits me sometimes, and I got to get myself together. A couple days I wasn't feeling well. I said I got to get myself together because this is what my mom would want me to do, and still
Mm,
be a mom myself. And that's what I did. And it's just dealing with grief one day at a time. That's how I'm handling it.
that's great. That's great. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tim and Jessa, how are y'all dealing with it? And how would you describe, well, what Mama meant to you? Don't forget you're on mute.
Thank you for that, because I was about to start giving words of wisdom and the winning lottery numbers, and you would have all missed it. But just I don't I don't want to. You go ahead. You start.
Okay. Um, for me, it's I'm all right this time compared to um, last few weeks. Last few weeks is really hard for me because I uh, I picture that every day I will not see her face. I will not, every time when you go to the stairs before you go to the kitchen or you go to the dining table, go to the living room, you will, look at your left. Like, what's she doing now? What's she buying? What she what she up to? And it's really hard for me. But then it helps that the family comes here every day. Every day we have like how many people? 40 people a day in 2 months. That's really big help. So I think I'm okay now. Sometimes I think of her, and I tell myself, you know what? She's not thinking of us. She's dancing now. I miss her. I miss her so much. I miss her so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think Mama was one of my best friends. I remember we were driving in the car back from the cemetery, and Angelique said, "Tim, that was my friend." And I said, "Mine too." And our mother's sister, Aunt Helen, she lost a friend. So we lost a friend. But for me, the grief process started with just the hospice pronouncement. You know what road you're on, and I wasn't really surprised. I think I was more relieved when the doctor put her on hospice, because I knew exactly what that was, and that was, overall, it was a relief, because I was sick and tired of seeing my mother suffer,
Mhm.
right? And so having to deal with that every day and constantly going through medical treatment, that's exhausting mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And but God was been so gracious to us. He allowed us to stretch out this grief process, right? And so as we were with her every day, we saw this stretch of time. And really, mother was on a borrowed time, and so we knew where this road was going to end. We knew we only had a few days, but God gave us a gift of time, and that helped ease the blow of the death, because just being there and seeing that decline. Of course, she ebbed and flowed. She had good days, and she would rally, and we thank God for the miracle. But grieving for me, it comes in spurts, little spurts, because I'm very project minded. I'm still battling the government with getting all of the benefits and everything changed. If it's not the bank, it's the government's insurance companies, this person or that person. And we're dealing with three different agencies in the government, and so the grief process comes and goes. And I had a moment last week when I took her walker to the Goodwill. A moment. I walked past her room to do something, and I think I pulled a bottle of medicine out of the cabinet, their name on it, at a moment. And these are just routine things that we go through every day. But this is not the first time that I grieved for my mother. We were just boys when our father took us away from our mother, and that was grief. That was the death of grief, death of loss. And so this is the first time. I was telling Jess the other day that this is the same feeling I had as a 8-year-old boy. But it is faith that gets you through, and it is faith that sustains you. And we can't grieve too long, because we know that we'll see her again. And we know that to be absent of the body is to be in the presence of the Lord. And so we have to rejoice. If we fail to rejoice as believers, we're not believers. We have to rejoice, because this is a good thing and done in God's perfect wisdom. And it pleased him to call her home. And if we can't happy with what pleases him, we're in trouble.
Amen. While Tisha's typing, I'll go. Uh, Mama was so many different things to me that I'm not sure that I could even begin to describe it. She was just so much of a mentor and a coach to me. That's what Mama was to me: a mentor, a coach, a sounding board. And the one thing that I always could count on with Mama was to get the truth of whatever it was that I was bringing to her. Matter of fact, Mama would tell us, if you don't want to know the truth, don't come to me. Right.
That's
And
true.
there was a couple times that I came to her with very serious things, and she asked me, "You really want to know what I think?" And when she asked you that, you better go ahead and sit down. But it was that type of honesty and directness that I think that all people need. You need to have somebody in your life that's just going to give you the truth. And she gave us the truth in love. And when we needed, something other than the truth with a bag of sugar, Mama gave us that too. She didn't coddle us. She wasn't rough and tumble all the time, but when it was needed, she could definitely do that. My grieving process for Mama started probably about 4 years ago. And I really didn't share this with my siblings. To be honest with you, I didn't really share it with my wife. Um, I could see about 4 years ago what we're dealing with now. And I did a lot of crying to myself. And one of the ways that I would help myself grieve was to write sermons. I probably have written 4 or 5 different sermons for Mama's homegoing service. That was an outlet for me to kind of deal with what I knew was going to come. Like Tim, I think that hospice, the announcement of hospice was kind of like a relief because by that time, and watching Mama, the progression, the last couple of hospital stays, listening to her and watching her, it was quite obvious that Mama was tired.
Yes.
And she had such clarity when she made the decision that she didn't want to do dialysis anymore. She had much clarity with signing the DNR, do not resuscitate. Very much clarity in saying, okay, we're going to do hospice. And I think it was the day after being put on hospice is when she became very vocal about plans for her homegoing service. And to be quite honest with you, that was very painful for me. The first couple of conversations, I dare not say anything because I felt like, who am I to say anything about the way I feel? You know, she's the one that's going through it. But I learned very quickly that what Mama was doing for us, she was still mothering us. She was still modeling all of my life. Mama had showed me how to live, and now at the very end, she was showing me how to die. And she showed me how to die with dignity, with grace, with
Yeah.
faith, with confidence, and even with a little pizzazz. And I'll never forget what I witnessed. I'm forever changed. And to be quite honest with you, I'm still processing everything that I witnessed. How I'm dealing with it, I don't know if I can quite verbalize that, other than to say, I just trust God. It's a day by day thing. I'm not sad, but I miss my mama. And I'm just trying to put this tremendously huge transition in my life into its proper place. It makes me want to get my house in order. I'm thinking of all of the projects that I need to get done. I'm thinking about all the things that Mama have said to me over the years. You know, I want to live out my life the way that she sacrificed for me to live out my life, the way that she instructed for me to live out my life. That's a goal, and I'm still in that place where I'm trying to process it. It hurts. I cannot say that it doesn't hurt, but my faith is not shaken. I would much rather be going through this than watching our mother continue to suffer. That was just too much.
Yes.
Mama had suffered way too much, and I was asking the Lord to either heal her here
That's
or
right.
heal her with Him,
That's
but
right.
this was just too much. And so I'm very pleased and relieved that Mama is um, is out of pain and suffering.
Yes.
That's the best way I can describe
For sure.
Um, Mama Agnes was another mother for me. She was a joy to be able to serve. Uh, she was a jokester, as my sister Kim said, a firecracker. Um, Always had a quick snap back, and you thought you was gonna say something. She had something for you to say. Always funny. Um, I think many people know that Carl and I used to date when we were younger. She most certainly was a firecracker then. I used to call the house the fun house. It has always been the fun house. um, it is an adjustment. I think we are all trying to figure out our new normal. Um, I still catch myself going in the room looking for her. I know she's not there, but I think we all are still finding ourselves looking for her, knowing that she's in a better place because she's not suffering. And I don't think any of us want her here, because we knew that the end would be that she would still be here on this side suffering. And so, to know that she's with the Lord, no longer suffering, and that, she had her shiny shoes on, walking around heaven, is all right by me. So, miss her dearly. And just simply her presence, where she was always hospitable and smiling, regardless of how much pain that she was in, just always smiling and having a good time, enjoying her family, regardless of what was going on. She was always sitting back, watching and enjoying her family.
That's great.
Yeah.
Kim, I want to start this question with you. Throughout our lifetime, we've seen other people lose their mother, maybe in a coworker. Other family members of ours have lost their mother. And of course, we always try to be empathetic, and you do everything you can to help, because that is, they're hurting in a place that you can't really touch. But nothing can really prepare you for when you lose your mother or somebody significant. We have Christina Cotton in the chat. She lost her daughter. I think she said her daughter was 22 years old.
I think it was her sister.
Sister, a significant other. These losses hurt. What did you learn with this loss that maybe you had not seen with other losses, and how you're dealing with the thing that you learned?
The one thing that this has actually taught me is having to deal with just losing your mom. Like I'm on social media a lot. I have a huge social media presence, but I saw a meme that said, treat your mom right, because she has lived without you, but you have never lived without her. And that really resonated with me, because one day you are up, your mom's alive, and then the next day it may not be that way. What I've learned is time. And you and a couple of you talked about time, and God gave us time. And that's what I needed, because I would have lost my mind if I just would have got a phone call. God provided time, and that's what I needed. And what I've learned is time waits for no one. Get on board or get lost.
Wow. Angelique, I'll ask you the same thing. What did you learn with this loss, and how are you dealing with what you learned?
Um, you know, when someone passes, um, you always, like you said, try to empathize. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say, but if there's anything that I can do. But let me tell you something about this. This will bring you to your knees. Um, I knew that I was going to hurt. We already spoke about God gave us time, but there's nothing that can actually prep you for your mother being here on Sunday, and then Sunday night by dinner time, she's gone. The depth of the hurt is not superficial. I feel like I am hurt to my core. Not so much with sadness. She's in a better place than she was here suffering, but I miss my mother. My friend is gone. Call my mother every single day. I cannot call my mother anymore. The last 2 years of my mother's life, when I came home to her house, I slept in the room with her. I don't have that anymore. What this has taught me is to just cherish the time that you do have. Everybody says it's not cliche. Tomorrow really is not promised. Tonight, it's not promised. It's a joker who took a nap at lunchtime and did not wake back up.
Yeah.
Cherish the time that you have and be intentional. Not living fly by night, running around in circles. Be intentional about the things that you're doing, the conversations that you're having, and the interactions that you're having with family and friends. Move with intent. And a big takeaway from her death for me is we need to fellowship.
Mm, great observation. How about you, Tim and Jessa?
I think I just want to reach back with where Angelique was with fellowship. I think that time that we got a good 3 weeks, 4 weeks really after her death, 3 weeks before, to fellowship all day long with our family and friends. And I think the last time we had spent that many consecutive days together was when we were children, because we've never stayed this late. Even when I came and camped out at your house during the pandemic, I was off to see the wizard after a couple of weeks. And so, you said something earlier, how Mama was just, she ran straight into death. We often tell a story about, her running into a third baseman. That's a good story, a 300-pound third baseman. And that's kind of how she ran into death, right? She just ran right into it with no stopping, knowing the home plate was on the other side of that obstacle. And, I remember walking in the room, and she was holding court and giving instructions. As a matter of fact, she was having my wife dictate these notes here. And this is just by chance on my desk. I didn't have it here as a prop. But she was dictating to Jessa, and Angelique, the things she wanted done for the funeral. And I walked in, I was offended. It's like, oh, wait a minute, Mama, you move a little too fast. You need to slow down now. We'll talk about this, but let's not jump into the grave yet. We got to get the shovel first. All right. And so, but that was just her controlling and her teaching us that death does come. And I can't even remember what your question was, but these things.
What did you learn from this death? What did you learn?
Well, it helped me to reconcile my own mortality. This was a day of dread. I had to learn my own mortality and learn what I wanted. About 20 years ago, I took 7 Habits class, and we're in 7 Habits. And you have to write a personal mission statement. The first question on the first day in the first hour was, if you died today, what would your children say about you? And if you're honest with yourself, go, Dad, it was this, Dad, it was that. And, I could imagine Mama had no worries about if she died today, what her children would say about her, which means she did a great job. And so I think I've avoided your question. I didn't answer it. But I did learn to reconcile with my own mortality, in that that we are on a faith journey. And if you don't believe from Genesis to Revelations, you're in trouble, because that is our only hope. There is no other hope. And so our hope lies within him and in those pages. And I know that I'll see my mother again, and that's what makes me so optimistic.
How about you, Jessa? What did you learn, and how are you applying it?
I think what I learned to what happened to us. I think Mama reunite our family. Why? This is my question. Why did we have to wait for someone to leave for us to be able to get together? As you said before, and Tim, you've been here for like 2 months, right? I know it's like 2 months. And that happened when you were little, right? And now that we are getting adult, we have our own life. I think what I learned is she show us that, hey, this is the time for you to get together. Don't wait for someone to leave just for you to see your siblings, see your father, your uncle, your auntie. I think that's what I learned.
Mm.
And before she left, she said, make sure that the siblings are, where's the camera? Always be like this. And that's what I
Mm.
learned. I learned that to here in this family, and I want that in my family also in Philippines. You know,
Mm.
this is the reality. Now we get adult. We have our own life, right? You look to your own family, but sometimes we have to make a room, or we have to make a time to see the family, your siblings, because you don't know. As Angelique said, there's no tomorrow. Maybe you don't see the night. So that's what I learned.
You know, I could go all night on what I learned. One of the greatest lessons. Mama was a walking miracle. Um, Doctors have told us for years that most people don't survive the things that Mama has been through. There's no way she could have been an organ donor because she got everything out of all them organs.
Oh, none left.
That there
Oh,
was
none left.
nothing left, nothing left.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
But I learned that God got one more miracle after the last miracle. And on Sunday afternoon, July 6th, somewhere around about, I guess about 3:30, we began to see that transition from mortality to immortality, from corruptible to the incorruptible. God was showing us, I got one more miracle. And for the those outside of the faith, it feels so final. Death seems so final.
Mhm.
But for the believer, it's really not goodbye. It's see you later. It's
Yep.
farewell for now.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And though I cried because I knew that my relationship with my mother, as I know it on this side, had come to an end, there was a part of me that was rejoicing because I knew that the Lord had allowed me to see that last miracle after the last miracle. Hey, Diana, good to see you, baby girl. That's
The
one of the
the the
greatest
the
lessons that I learned out of that. I also learned this: we have people in our lives that are really special and really great, and we kind of know it, but we don't really give their greatness its full appreciation and expression because it is our normal. And I did not realize it until Mama was gone. For me, I'm not speaking for y'all, I'm speaking for me. I don't think I ever truly expressed her true significance and greatness to me. And I got to wait till I see her again to express it because she was my normal. But her mothering was really abnormal when you compare it to all of the mothering that we see. So those two things I learned, and how I'm applying those is I'm going to do a much better job at being very vocal and expressive about the greatness and people that I see in my life. Really give people their flowers while they're here. And there are many different ways to do that. And as far as that one last miracle, I've already started that. I preached a message, but there's a way to live that out to really let people know the believers, because if you're not a believer, I'm probably just sounding crazy, but to believers, you got to understand how much of a miracle that is to watch a believer say farewell like we saw our mother say farewell. That was a miracle. And the Lord allowed us to see that. And we have to tell this story. And so, what did you learn?
Hmm. Um, Let me try to get myself together. um, I happened to see someone say, of course, we're not here when our parents are born, but it is truly an honor to be a part of Mama's Agnes transition. I wasn't there when she was born, but it was an honor for me to be there as she was taking her last breath, to be able to see that, as difficult as it may be. And another thing that I learned is, regardless to what's going on in your life as family, at the end of the day, we're still family. Um, we're gonna always have each other's back, regardless to what's going on. We're gonna have each other's back. We're gonna be 10 toes down. Um, all of that. 10 toes down. We're gonna ride for each other till the wheels fall off. And if we need to, we're gonna go and use a flat tire. That's what Mama Agnes and the family taught us. That's how I was raised. That's how Agnes raised y'all. Family stick together regardless to what is going on. Whatever issues, if there are issues, don't let that hinder you from being family. Because as we see, you can be here today, gone today.
Yes.
You still got to love each other regardless to whatever is going on. I'm not saying that anything is going on, but if there is an issue, you always love each other. If there's an issue, discuss it, move forward. Because at the end of the day, we're going to always have each other's back. 10 toes down, 4 flat tires, and the spare.
All right.
And we're going to get together and still keep Mama Agnes' tradition going, like we do.
That means somebody got to cook Sunday dinner.
Angelique, I'm gonna start with you with this question. And I know that these answers are really opinions, but I want to know, in your opinion, and I want to say hello to Brene Williams. Thank you, my dear sister. I appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate your prayers. And appreciate you singing at Mama's
Yes.
homegoing. We heard you, girl.
Yes.
Thank you.
Angelique, how long do you think it takes to get back to that place called normal? Um, and even if you want to take the time to explain whatever you think normal is after a loss like this.
Well, I think that what we're going to have to do is try to define each of us individually our new normal.
Hmm.
Our norm is gone because normally every day, sometimes twice a day, called my mother. Bi-weekly, I drove down here. I slept in the room with her. So I think it is defining the new normal, being able to honor her, but at the same time, not allowing yourself to go into the pit. Grief can be very depressing. You may have a day where you cry all day, but you can't stay there. You
Hmm.
allow yourself to have those moments, redefine your new normal, you honor her, and you live. One thing that mama got after me about is she's like, Angelique, you don't do anything. I go to work, wrong, work, wrong. And so not celebrating myself. So part of my new norm is I'm taking myself out every once in a while. Okay. It's something that mama wanted me to do. I will allow some of the rough days to come, but she would not want me to sit there.
Amen. How about you, Kim? How long do you think it takes to get back to normal, and what is normal after this?
Um, it's never going to be normal again. Because I lost my mother. We lost our mom, and it's never going to be normal again. Um, what I have decided to do is to love on those that love me, and I'm okay with that. And if somebody's not okay with that, that's on them. I'm going to love who shows and loves me. That's what I plan on doing. I'm not wasting time with anybody who can't do that. So that's my new normal. Loving me, loving on people that love me.
Amen. Okay, I got it. Tim and Jessa, how about you? How long will it take to get back to the new normal, and what is normal?
Um, for me, I don't know. I can, I don't know. But what I'm gonna do, and what I should do, is whatever Mama teach me. So what did she taught me? Sunday, we should have Sunday dinner. That's a must. That's the must. And if there's a like holiday, that's a must. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter Sunday, that's a must. That's what she taught me. That's what I will continue. Being normal, it's not gonna be like before, but I will try to 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 do what she taught me. As I said, the Sunday, that's a must because I've been here for like 3 years, and every Sunday, that's what we do. And if there's a holiday 3 weeks before, I have to prepare. I have to list it down. I have to do it. Thank God with my what do you call that, recipe book?
Recipe book, a
Yeah.
handwritten recipe book.
I never knew that this will come, and I didn't know that. Why did I? Nobody tell me to write it down. I didn't know. It just happened, and tada!
I was telling Jessa that I think we were talking yesterday in the car. I was telling her that Mama had been training her over the last 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So, because I kept telling Mama, I said, Mama, why you volunteer to take potato salad or macaroni and cheese to the church, and you can't cook and you can't go in the kitchen? And so everything that's been gone to the church for the festivals and events and the dinners, has been Mama sitting and coaching and Jessa writing and making. And so Jess has been able to pick up and still put together something to eat that's made by Mama's hands. And I think that's a legacy, because this is exactly the way Mama told her how to do it. As we celebrate life and these holidays, I'm gonna celebrate not having toys all over the floor or around the house, because Mama had it looks like the Great Christmas. I don't know, Mom. There was more presents than people up under the tree, and that's the truth.
I'm gonna miss that.
Mama had toys and everything all over the place, just boxes everywhere. And the funny thing is, as we were digging out her closet, we found she had a stash of just these odd trinkets and these odd whatnots. And I'm thinking, Mama's been preparing like a squirrel, bears nuts. And Mama's been putting away these Christmas presents. Oh, I forgot a Christmas present for so-and-so. Go look at my closet. So we found about 3 Christmases worth of.
That was
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've been finding some stuff. Some stuff should have been given 4 years ago.
Yeah, like that toothbrush and toothpaste I got. The toothpaste expired in 2021, but it's okay.
2021.
It's okay. I'm gonna keep it as a souvenir. I ain't gonna throw it away.
Oh, oh, bless Mama. So she was ready, but she was just like her mother. She's definitely her mother's daughter. And her mother grew up in the Great Depression and learned how to be thrifty. And I think Mama had a heart for people, and not a very charismatic way. Mama just did stuff, right? The house was very hospitable. She always had an open door for everybody. And I brought home a lot of strays, rugrats, misfits, and vagrants on Sunday, especially when I was in school. But there was always an open door. And so, I guess the question is, what is new normal? There is no normal. We just got to figure out what normal is. Because Angelique said it right, normal is gone. Normal was getting home at a certain time in the morning to cook her breakfast because she didn't eat early. And normal was don't plan anything because her taste buds change while you're cooking what she asked for in the first place. Normal was looking at her and looking in her face, looking at her body, and not listening to her words because she would always tell you she was all right. But you had to look at the intensity of how she was shaking her leg or rubbing her tummy or breathing or panting or the pitch of her voice. And you could tell, okay, something's wrong. And you try to give her the choice most of the time what we're going to do, but sometimes you just have to say, hey, we're doing X, Y, and Z for your health. And that's what normal was, trying to predict. Normal, trying to predict how Mama was doing from 1 hour to another is like predicting the weather. It's just like, no.
Mm-hmm. Well, I tell you, for me, trying to figure out the new normal, when Moses died, Joshua had to step up.
Mm-hmm.
My first thoughts were, who will be our Joshua? As time goes on, I don't know if that was Mama's plan for there to be one Joshua. As we continue to talk, it sounds like what Mama was setting up is for all of us to be Joshua. And I think for me, normal is trying to use the tools that Mama gave us. I think all of us have hit the nail on the head with all of the answers. I gleaned something from all of the answers. Um, yeah, and Jessa said something about the Sunday dinners must continue. Well, I got that feeling yesterday as we were sitting at the table. I just shook my head and I was saying, Mama, you ain't going nowhere. You still here. You still here. The green beans.
Yes.
I almost cried when I tasted the green beans.
Yes, Lord.
That was Mama's recipe.
Mm.
The roast beef and gravy. That was Mama's recipe. How everybody gathered and just had a good time. That was Mama's recipe. So the thing is, and I hope we all see this, there's been a generational shift. Mama is now off the scene. It's our turn. We now have to set the pace for the family. We have to set and maintain the standard for the family. We have to demonstrate allegiance, teamwork, and peace for the family. It's our turn. Mama turned it over to us. And the more I listen to us talk, the more it is apparent to me that she knew what she was doing. We didn't know what she was doing, but Mama knew what she was doing. She's off the scene now. It's on us. So we are the new normal. And so the question is to us Joshuas, how shall we go forward? All of us got an idea, but people say a whole lot of things. It's really how we do it. You know what I mean? Our actions speak louder than words. That's me. The time frame, um, I think the time frame is a moving target because all of us are yet adjusting. All of us process a little differently. I don't think there's a cookie cutter answer. We all have to process in our own time, in our own way. And Kim spoke about that. You know, her process before Mama left was a little different than ours. Not better, not worse, just different, right? Process. All of us are processing what normal will be, right? Because we'll get into some type of routine that will become normal to us. It'll never be what it was because she's not here. That is a fact.
Right.
But we'll have to get to some place that will have to be normal. And I don't know the exact time frame because I think that we're actually working it out now. I think it'll fall into place in its time and in its place. That's what I think. How about you?
I would agree with that.
Okay. Well, listen, we getting to the point we're about to wrap up, and what I want to do now is I just want to do a round robin. Tim and Jesse, we're going to start with you, then we'll go to Kim, and then we'll go to Angelique. Just anything that maybe we didn't cover, whatever your expressions are. Um, this is our tribute to our mother. Also, sorry about this noise in the background. This is my grandson. I guess he wants to be. I guess he wants to be on film with us. Another legacy. But I want to start with you, Tim. Just maybe anything that we didn't cover. Your expressions about Mama.
Yeah, Mom was one of my best friends, and it's hard to deal with. I chuckle, I laugh. Yeah, I miss our tussles. I often told her that her body did not belong to her; it belonged to us because we're the ones who took care of it. And so I miss those. But there are other people out there who are suffering the loss of a loved one, a parent, a sibling, or even a child, and the grief is a void or emptiness. And there's one thing that can carry you through this, and that is faith. It is your faith that carries you through it. It is your faith that is invisible that carries you when you don't know that you're being carried. And so, you have to hope for a tomorrow and a better life. One thing um, uh, that we realize is that she is somewhere else. She did make a transition. The body had to cease at its expiration so that her spirit and her soul could go on and go through that miracle of death. Death is a miracle. Death is a passageway. It's the only way that you can get to our Heavenly Father. And so many of us believers are afraid of death. I don't understand why believers are afraid of death. That boggles my mind. But there are people out there who are hurting today. And it's your faith in Him, and your faith and the hope for tomorrow, and the faith for greater things that's going to carry you through.
Awesome. How about you, Jessa?
Um, I just want to say, I don't know if I say this to mom, but I know she's watching. I just want to say thank you for always encouraging me for something that I thought that I cannot do. So that's her what she taught me. That's what she gave to me. When me and Tim was new, I don't cook. But then she encouraged me, just do it. Just you do it, you try. Because I know what will happen. Ma, I'm gonna burn that. It's okay, baby. You do it again next time. When you make mistake, don't forget what you have made mistake the last time, and don't do it again. You have to be better. That's what she taught me. And wherever you, ma, thank you for that. I know I say thank you, but still I want to say thank you for that.
Mm, you're gonna make me cry again. All right, Kim.
Okay, I would like to say I love you, Mom. Thank you for all the lessons, all the teachings. And I just want to say thank you for God blessing me to have you as a mom. She taught me a lot. She gave me this little firecracker attitude too. And I thank her for that. And I want to say I love you. And as of now, she'll be my guardian angel.
Amen. All right, Angelique.
Just to go back to what everybody else was saying, Mom, I love you. Thank you for everything you taught us, the tough lessons, the stuff that we didn't want to hear. I thank you for it, and also thank you for the love. But really quickly, other people who are grieving a loss this major, is it's a hurt that's hard to touch, and the way that you get through something like this, it takes supernatural strength. This is going to take some faith muscles. Yes, I go to the gym and I lift weights. Them weights that I lift is not a match for the amount of faith that you have to be able to get through this. Something like this will break you down to your knees, where the only place you can look is a person cannot get you through this. They can try to help you to get through something like this. You have to trust in God.
Amen. How about you,
Mhm.
Tisha?
Um, oh boy. Mama Agnes, I miss you. Continue to rest in peace. I know you have clicked them heels several times, them slippers. I know you are resting easy. I know she is somewhere just enjoying herself because she suffered on this time on this side, so I know she is wearing her crown. She taught us all well. She gave us our specific instructions on what it is that we are to do. So I know that we are all going to follow our specific instructions individually and collectively as a family. I want to say to all of y'all, I love you. Um, and we're going to get through this together. And I also agree with what Sister said. When you lose a mother like Mama Agnes, there is a hole in your heart that is unbearable, but only God can get you through this. Continue to trust in God. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, and she deserves to be present with the Lord. And I hand it over to you.
Mama taught me many things, but I think in these last days, one of the greatest lessons that I gleaned, and I don't think she taught me this on purpose, is just my observation. Mama taught me how to wear imperfection perfectly in my marriage, in my parenting, in my finances, in my decision making, in my walk as a believer, even in my service as a preacher. And she was not one. But listening to her, watching her walk, watching her faith, experiencing God's miracles through her, listening to all of the advice and counsel over the years through my toughest times, through some very embarrassing times. Mama taught me how to wear imperfection perfectly with grace and with dignity and unashamedly. Mama taught us, and she set an example for us to have no fear, especially people. And I hold that near and dear. I told her in her last days, I said, Mama, I'm a mature man, so as I look back on my childhood, I see a whole lot of your mistakes. I said, but I wouldn't bring not one of them up because what you gave us in character, in morality, and integrity, it outweighs whatever your imperfections and mistakes were until they don't even deserve mention. It just it just don't even matter. And that was very important to me. All of us make mistakes. To be quite honest with you, all of us make horrible mistakes,
Mhm.
no matter your best intentions. But we can overcome them, and we can right the ship. And that's one of the many lessons Mama taught me. She didn't teach me that on her knee. She taught me that by living it out. And I take that away. We had a tremendous mother. Her name was Agnes Marion Copeland. She was born Agnes Marion Hankison, June 28th, 1950, Norfolk County, Virginia, to Theodore Roosevelt Hankison and Pinky Jackson Hankison. And there's been nobody in my life quite like her, and I don't believe there'll be anybody ever quite like her. She holds a special place not only to those of us who are on your screen, but to many others. Her display of hospitality, integrity, selflessness, and wisdom have helped hundreds of people along the way. And that is a literal number, hundreds. Her life was impactful and meaningful beyond what any of us could express verbally. She is to be honored. She is to be remembered. We miss her, but she lives on in us through every lesson, through every portion of discipline that we had, and we had plenty.
Yes, Lord. Glory to his
Through
name.
every expression that she gave us, through every lesson, she lives on. And we have already passed it along to our children and grandchildren. Because I sit around and listen to how we talk to our children and grandchildren, and I hear my mother. And so I hope that in this hour and some change that we've been with you this evening, if any of you in our live audience or in the audience that will come and view this in the future, I am so hopeful that this has been impactful and helpful to you as you deal with loss of a significant other. It's not easy. And let me say this to believers. I pray that you're not in a Christian environment where people are telling you that believers ain't supposed to hurt, ain't supposed to be crying, ain't supposed to be. That's just foolish talk. The scriptures tell us first natural, then spiritual.
Mhm.
You lose somebody whom you hold dear, that hurts. We don't grieve as if all is lost, because as believers we know that death on this side is not final. We know that we'll see them again, but
Yes.
the human part of us does grieve. And so we've said farewell to our mother. We ain't saying goodbye. And I hope that us expressing ourselves about this dear lady has helped you as you go through your process and dealing with the loss of your significant other. On behalf of my sisters, Angelique, Kimberly, my sister in love, Jessa, my brother Tim, my wife Teacher, I'm saying God bless every last one of you. Uh, we thank God for you, and we pray that what we've done here tonight has been great for you. We see you next time. Bye bye for now.
Bye bye.
All right, good night.
Good night.